And welcome, Destiny Christian Church, to Destiny Devo. And we've been talking about idolatry, and these are seed thoughts as I'm working towards a series, probably next couple months or so. And I'm really excited about it because I've always wanted to get a handle on it, on the subject of idolatry and why it's such a big issue. And I've often said to myself, I would never bow down to a Baal or go to an Ashtaroth pole and to those perverted, worship practices they used to do, or sacrifice a child to some god. That's disgusting. And we can look back with superiority on the past. However, idolatry is not something that just happens, in one age. It happens in every age. It just morphs into a new idea. And so I'm going to read again to you Genesis 1:26 that talks about this idea, because today we're going to talk about God's image in us is the template for our identity. And so here's Genesis 1:26 that says, "Then God said, let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." And this scripture is the template. It was what God said, this is how you're going to be. This is who you're going to be. And we defined that template. I used my professor's definition, Dr. Middleton, who put it beautifully when he said it this way. It's the royal office of calling of human beings as God's representatives. And we lost it there, but I'll keep reading it to you. It timed out on me. And agents in the world, granted authorized power to share in God's rule or administration of the earth's resources and creatures. And so here's the point that I'm trying to make here, that when we do anything other than that, then act like our parent, our father, our creator, it becomes idolatry. And that's why idolatry is such an issue. And God's image in us is the template for our identity. And so why is getting the right image important? Because image can shape and reshape our view of the world. And I mean images. And if you get the wrong image, if you get the wrong idea other than God's idea, it's going to reshape your worldview. And that's why social media can be an image, its own image, because it reshapes the way you think and the way you feel about the world. And if we're getting all of our information and wisdom out of social media or out of YouTube or, whatever your preference is, or television or, streaming, whatever, those can become idols because they have nothing to do with what God and who God said you are. And it's like looking in a mirror. When you look in a mirror, you should see God, the image of God. God should see his son and daughter as himself, just as a parent is most proud when their child honors the family by holding to its values and saying, I'm going to make my mom and my dad proud. And mirrors reflect, don't they? A mirror reflects, but a distorted or broken mirror also reflects. So if your mirror is broken because maybe the image of God in you is messed up, then whatever it reflects, that's what you're going to become. And however, you'll become it in a broken or distorted fashion. And that's why it's so important to get the right image, to make sure that we're working out of God's image, not our own image. And so Genesis gives us the lens, that verse I read, for the rest of the Bible. And as people were created in God's image, that's how they were supposed to act. And one theologian put it this way: human identity is rooted in what it reflects. The reflection will be strong or fragile as a function of this relationship that it reflects. And in other words, he's saying that whatever we reflect, that's what we worship, that's what we're focusing on, that's what we are. And one of the books I have is You Are What You Worship. And you reflect what you worship, don't you? You reflect whatever your values are, whatever image you focus on, that's what you're going to reflect. And I've seen situations in the past where people, came into the church and they didn't last long, but you could tell there was something wrong with the way they were thinking, like perverted, like something demonic, let's say, right? One man years ago just had a real problem with lust. And just on meeting this guy, I could see it. I could just see it all over this guy. He had a problem with that. He was reflecting the image he worships. But it could be anybody else. Somebody can come in and could be a gossip, and you can see that, and that could be their image, right? So the point I'm making is we have to be careful of what image we worship, and it has to be God's image, no other image, right? So I'm going to close this out now. If I reflect an image that I get from today's culture, then my identity becomes shaped by that image. If I go by what the world says God is, then that would be my image. And because images have the power to shape and reshape how we perceive the world. And that's why we have to have God's image. So I want to challenge you to check that out for yourself and ask yourself, Lord, am I reflecting your image? Am I reshaping my life based on a broken image in the mirror? So till next time, check out the website, destinychristianniagara.com. Check out our YouTube channel and our Facebook. There's always news on there and sermons and all that. And we have great speakers. We have Pastor Karen and Lori. They're phenomenal. We love them. And so till next time, God bless and thanks for listening.